Hello, readers. How many of you know the movie Toy Story? Now, friends, when I watched this movie, I learned so much about Woody. But is he the only star of the movie? No, there's Andy and Rex and Mr. Potato Head and, of course, Buzz Lightyear. When you watch Toy Story, you don't just meet Woody, you meet others too. You wouldn't know a lot about Woody if you didn't know his friends. After all, who is Pooh without Piglet? And who is Shrek without Donkey? And what about Princess Anna without Elsa? To really get to know this story and the star of your story, it's important to pay extra attention to the other characters in the story too. Those other characters are called secondary characters. So just like in the movie Frozen and Frozen 2, but we're going to talk about Frozen, the first one right now, we wouldn't know a lot about Anna's white streak in her hair if it wasn't for Elsa. So we learn a lot about our characters through other characters. So boys and girls, today what I want to teach you is that readers don't just get to know the characters who is the star of the story. They get to know the other characters too. When you learn about the other characters, guess what? You end up knowing the main character even better. So we're going to read our book again today. We're going to read the next chapter, and Mr. Putter and Tabby Cat drop the ball. Now, our last lesson, we really honed in on our main characters, Mr. Putter and Tabby Cat, and we tried to learn everything about them. But today, boys and girls, we are going to pay special attention to those secondary characters, those characters that are not the main characters. We are going to pay attention to notice their relationships with our main characters here. Okay, friends. You can read with me if you would like to. Make sure you continue to pay attention to those secondary characters. All right, here we go. So we already read the first chapter, baseball. Now we're going to read the team. Remember, this is where we left off, where Mr. Putter and Tabby Cat were going downstairs to find his baseball. The team. Mr. Putter found his mitt. Now all we need is a team, he told Tabby. Mr. Putter called his friend and neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry. Ooh, I already found a secondary character, Mrs. Teaberry. Mrs. Teaberry would know about a team. She was very sporty. She even walked the dog-a-thon with her good dog Zeke. Of course, there's a team, said Mrs. Teaberry. It's called the Yankee Doodle Dandies. Am I too old to play? Asked Mr. Putter. Heavens, no, said Mrs. Teaberry, handing Zeke a sniffy bone. You will feel young on that team. I notice another secondary character, Zeke. Will my knees feel young on that team? Asked Mr. Putter. You are not too old, and neither am I, said Mrs. Teaberry. We'll both play. Mr. Putter hung up the phone. I hope I'm not too old, he said to Tabby. Tabby just purred. To her, Mr. Putter was perfect. So boys and girls, we have some new characters. Our new characters are Mrs. Teaberry, and we have the puppy Zeke. Do we know much more about our main characters yet? Now, friends, it's going to be your turn to read. You are going to be able to get a book from your book bin, if you have a book bin at home, or read one online on Epic or Tumblebooks. This is a realistic fiction book. Remember that we're working with realistic fiction. So just like I said, now it's your turn. Find a place in your book and start reading or rereading. Pay special attention to the relationships your character brings and what they have with the other characters. Notice what they say to each other and the things that they do together to get to know both characters even more. Remember, you can learn about the characters through the pictures too, just like we did in Mr. Putter and Tabby. Look closely and learn more about the relationships that they have. How do they look? Are they happy together? Or do they seem sad? Readers, I have learned so much about Woody, but you know what? I've learned that you can't learn about Woody without learning about Buzz Lightyear. And you can't learn about Iris without learning about Walter. Yeah, you already know that characters are the most important part of the story, but it's not the main character who matters. The relationships that the main character has with other characters in the story matter too. So boys and girls, find a book, dive in, and check out those relationships that your main characters are having with the secondary characters. Happy reading, friends!